Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike here at Game from Scratch, and today we have a humble bundle of interest to game developers. In fact, we've got about 4 of them that are kind of interesting, but this one is the most interesting, and it is Inside Gaming by MIT Press, because it covers an area that you don't normally see covered, and that is the world of design, or basically the market as a macro level as well. It's an interesting collection of books. Some of them are like historical looks into the world of games, and then some of these are straight out about design in general. So if you do not know how this works, Humble Bundle is organized into tiers. It's a collection of ebooks in this case. You buy the higher dollar value tier. So if I buy this tier, I get all the items in this tier as well. I'm going to focus on them as a single tier. You're going to notice it's $23 Canadian, which works out to $15 USD. So a heck of a bargain for 25 ebooks if the subject tickles your fancy. Again, this is a pretty eclectic mix on the whole in this bundle. You decide how your money is allocated between Humble, charity, the publisher, and if you so choose, and thank you so much if you do, to help support Game from Scratch. So again, I'm not going to look at them in tiers. I'm going to look at them as one big blob. I also bought this bundle to let you know what is in it, so what formats you get, because it's a little strange. You're going to see what I mean in a second. But here you're getting, at the first one, you're getting Game Wizards, the epic battle for Dungeons and Dragons. Now, the story of Dungeons and Dragons is insane. I don't know if you know about it, that, Gary Gygax apparently went on a bit of a bender at one point, was in Hollywood trying to option off the movie rights. There was power moves and takeovers and you name it. The story of Dungeons and Dragons is really interesting. Next up, we have virtual reality. Okay, that's a little vague, but you can see a comprehensive overview of developments in augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, and how they could affect every part of our lives. Again, more of a high-level overview type thing for your designers, producer type people, or for people that just have a general interest in gaming. Next up, we get The Elusive Shift, How Role-Playing Games Forge Their Identity. We get the first book I'm going to read in this series, to be honest, because I love retro gaming programming details. This is Racing the Beam. There's a reference to the fact that they actually had to write their code while it was being drawn on the screen, about the Atari video computer system, so the Atari 2600 back in the day. How Games Move Us, Emotion by Design. Half Real, video games between real rules and fictional worlds. The Art of Failure, an essay on the pain of playing video games. The Well-Played Game, a player's philosophy. The Critical Play, Radical Game Design. So again, books straight out about game design are actually relatively rare. So that's interesting. We got Play Matters, Uncertainty in Games, Value at Play in Digital Games, Homebrew Gaming, and the Beginning of the Vernacular Digitality, Achievement Unlocked, Loss Aversion, and Game Design, The Developer's Dilemma, The Secret World of Video Game Creators, Handmade Pixels. Now, this one's going to come back and be a little weird in a minute. Independent Video Games and the Quest for Authenticity, Who Are You? Nintendo Game Boy Advance Platform, the How Pac-Man Eats, so again, how these games were actually created, Communities of Play, Emerging Cultures in Multiplayer Games and Virtual Worlds, Atari Age, The Emergence of Video Games in America, A Play of Bodies, How We Perceive Video Games, Superpowers, Spoony Bards and Silverware, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Atari to Zelda, Japan's Video Games in a Global Context, or in Global Contexts, Codename Revolution, the Nintendo Wii platform, and then Warcraft Civilization, Social Science in a Virtual World. Now, I'm going to tell you straight out, a very eclectic mix of books. Again, there's not a lot of stuff out there on game history, especially from a developer's perspective. There's not a lot of books specifically about design. So there's an interesting collection going on here. Now, I told you earlier, I bought this book. I'll let you know what you get out of it. And here you can see you don't actually get PDF of every version here. That's very strange. So some of these are actually only, specifically this one, the Handmade Pixels is only in EPUB format. Now, there are tools out there to convert between different formats, and there's a number of EPUB readers for free on every single platform out there. But this, I think, is the first time I have ever seen a book. And then here, How Pac-Man Eats, also only in EPUB. Now, the majority of these are EPUB, Mobi, and PDF, so that basically covers you on every single platform you could want to read it. But I think, again, with Humble Books, it's the first time 2 of these books are not actually in PDF. I've seen a lot of PDF only like this, and PDF is a pretty ubiquitous format, so that is a safe thing to do. But Mobi only, that one is new. EPUB only, that one is definitely new to me. So that is what you get in this book. So the nice thing is you can download these books as many times as you want from their servers. Their servers are fast. You can get them on demand, and Now, I mentioned earlier on, there's also a number of other small bundles going on relevant to game developers. I didn't do their own video on them, but you could find them interesting. The first one is Coding for Kids. This is a collection of courses from Zenva for topics such as Scratch, Roblox, Python, very much orientated at teaching the younger people amongst us how to program. Obviously, it's an introductory level course, so you can learn. Scratch is a great entry-level programming language, especially for younger kids. Python Turtle is also another good choice, and then I think Roblox is like catnip or crack to the young ones. I'm not sure. I'm not a young one, but I believe that to be the case. So that course is out there. There's also a selection of programming book bundles. There's been so many of these, I didn't bother covering it, but it's actually a decent bundle because it's O'Reilly Press, and you're covering things such as JavaScript, Kotlin, Perl, Python, Go, C#, TypeScript, C, R, Java, Go, etc. So there's a decent selection of ebooks there, all for, I think it's $15 for the, yeah, actually that might be slightly more than $15, but still a heck of a bargain if you're looking for programming language books. And then this is actually a repeat that we've run in the past. It's not necessarily about game development because I think the licensing is a little funky. I did a video on this one the last time this bundle was on, but if you're looking for map making software, so if you need to create literally city maps and so on, you can definitely create some really cool maps, and those maps can be used in your project. It's just you can't use the assets, I believe. So there's a ton of assets here for creating these kind of maps. So you see these landscapes, avenues, and so on. These ones you cannot use directly in games, but generated maps that you create. So if you're doing like an overland map for an RPG style game, you can use those. They're just straightforward images that you're ultimately generating. So if you're interested, I actually did a video on campaign cartographer and city designer, etc. in the past. I'll link that with all of the relevant links down below as well. So this is a repeat bundle from the past. It's an interesting one if you're into, basically if you're doing tabletop map creation. This is, I think, the kind of the preeminent, at least traditionally preeminent software for creating fantasy style maps. But you could also use it in the world of game development if you wanted to create like static maps type thing. And I actually know a decent number of actual published pen and paper role-playing games use this software for their images inside. And then a quick reminder, this one is ongoing. I already did a video about it, but it's not ongoing for much longer because I believe it ends in exactly 2 days. This is the Ultimate Fantasy Unity RPG Developer Bundle. I did a video on this. It is a number of assets from PBR. Oh, their name's not here anymore. But what is their name? Infinite PBR, as well as some courses in here as well. So if you're interested, if you're a Unity developer, some very nice stuff in this pack. I did get some feedback that some of these courses aren't actually ready yet, which is very, very strange. They're from Jason, it's not Weissman, I said it wrong last time, but it's Jason Wyman. So not Weissman, Wyman. He's another YouTuber, focuses on the world of Unity. So he's got a set of courses available in here as well. So if you're a Unity developer, especially if you're doing a fantasy style game, that bundle is still ongoing, but just for 2 more days. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the bundle. It is the, what was this thing called again? Inside Gaming by MIT Press book bundle. It's a very interesting collection if you're into gaming history, especially from a developer perspective, or you are an aspiring game designer, because that's pretty much the theme of all of the books in this collection. Let me know what you think. Again, this one is a little bit on the different side. All the relevant links will be down below. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.